Good evening. We'll come to order for the August meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Call to order here, fire exits. Of course, there aren't too many people in the room tonight. It's too hot, I guess. Fire exit to the side leads to the rear parking lot of the town hall, which I think we all came in through. If for some reason that were blocked, you will go straight down the hallway, which will come out by the Orange Center Road Firehouse. Or if you went up the stairs right behind the wall with the clock on it, you would come out on Orange Center Road out in front of the building. At this time, I think we'll rise and have a pledge of allegiance. Excuse our chairs. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and we'll start, I think last month we started with Selectman Cuzzacrio, so this month we'll start with Selectman Goldblatt, please, for the introductions.
Mitch Goldblatt.
Ralph Oakenquist.
We're short a microphone here.
Ann
Wow.
Petty, Secretary.
Vincent Marino, Town Attorney.
Good evening, Joe Blake.
Anthony Nastri.
Roy Cuzzacrio.
Thank you very much. Ron, how are we short a microphone out here tonight? What happened? Okay, public participation. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to speak on a topic which is not a listed item on the agenda? We offer at this time for a period of up to 2 minutes. Seeing nobody, I do have a few announcements for tonight. Kind of a sad week. We've lost several members of our community, and 3 that I know of that have served on boards and commissions for the town of Orange. We lost Grace Cilia, who was very active here in the community, and Gus Marathis, who's also on one of our commissions here in town. And we also lost the voice of the Orange Country Fair for many years, was Greg Mulhern. All 3 of those people have been departed us in the last week or so. If you could take a moment of silence for them. Thank you. The Rotary Lobster Fest is coming up. Mr. Don Lewis is sitting in the audience giving me thumbs up. It is on August 18th from 3:30 to dusk at the Orange Fairgrounds under the food pavilion there. I believe tickets are available from any Rotarian. If you run into one, they are also available on the counter at Orange Fence and Supply at 205 Boston Post Road, Orange. Okay, support the Rotary. They do a lot of good work, charitable donations to a lot of our community organizations here. The Orange Country Fair is coming to the town. It's going to be in September. It's going to be right after our next Selectmen's meeting, but we have to start plugging it now on September 15th and 16th. Fair books are available at the local farm stands. They're available at the library, the town hall, the town clerk's office, the first Selectman's office, I think at the community center. Get your entries in for the Orange Fair. Pick up a fair book. You can copy the entry form and then fill it out if you have multiple children that want to make entries. You can use one entry and just copy it. We'll copy it for you here at the town hall if you wish. We have a new nurse at Turkey Hill School, Kathleen Malone. Will be starting with the school year. We're very proud and welcome her to our team of the wonderful school nurses that take care of all of our children here in the school system. Our own town physician, Dr. Zelson, I don't know how many of you saw it in the newspaper, swam across Long Island Sound. It was a breast cancer fundraiser. He's one of our town-renowned swimmers, and I commend him because I don't think I could get maybe out past the dock. So I'm very proud of Dr. Zelson and that huge achievement for to raise money for breast cancer. That's terrific. If you go to the town website, www.orange-ct.gov, you'll see a little patch on there that says click here to enjoy the movie. I think it looks like a little movie ticket, and if you click it on, it'll be that website connection that promoting the town of Orange. I showed it to Paul Grimmer the other day, our Economic Development Director. He got very excited about it, and he's contacting them to see if he can put it on the Orange Economic Development website as well. It promotes the community and a lot that we have to offer here, and it's really great, and he's going to try to put it on the business side of things as well as the town side of things. I think that's a great plus. Annual town report books, I say this every month, are still available in the Selectmen's office and the town clerk's office. If you would like one, you can feel free to stop in and pick one up. Otherwise, if you call in at 891-2122, extension 737, we will be glad to mail you one. But that's the town report. Also, fair books are available in all those locations. So please, remember all the great items I just went over with you, because every one of them is extremely important to the whole town. Okay. Anybody else for public? Hearing none. Okay. Well, we're going to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing, and this is for the establishment of a Housatonic River Estuary Commission. We have a motion to move in? Okay. Roy and Joe Blake, thank you very much. All in favor of that, I guess? Good. Okay. And do we have to read that? There's an advertisement for that? Okay.
Town of Orange, notice of public hearing on proposed ordinance. Notice is hereby given to the legal voters and those qualified to vote in town meetings of the Town of Orange that in accordance with Section 3.4 of the Charter of the Town of Orange, the Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 8th, 2007, at 7:30 p.m. in the lower level meeting room of the Town Hall, 617 Orange Center Road, Orange, Connecticut, on the proposed ordinance set forth below. Ordinance creating a Housatonic River Estuary Commission. And it appeared in the newspaper on July 26th.
Thank you. Vincent, would you like to talk this first, or do you want to open it up to the board? What's your pleasure?
I think we discussed this pretty much at length
Last
last time.
month.
I would just open it up to the board if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Very good. Anybody on the board? Yes, Mitchell.
Vince, under section 76-2, membership term A, actually the second line there, it says, "The Orange Commissioner shall serve a 4-year term." Is there any desire from the people that want to create this commission to have all the terms run concurrently, so that all the commissioners' terms come up at the same time? Or is it just going to be whenever, Jim appoints the commissioner, it'll be 4 years from there, and they'll be kind of staggered? That's the only concern I have, whether there was a desire upon the commission to have them all come in and expire at the same time or not, because it doesn't provide for that here.
Right.
So,
There was no express desire on the part of the proposed commission on whether it should be staggered terms, so you have some, members remaining for experience purposes, so there was no expressed consideration there at all. So what I did here was I modeled it after other appointments, and one thing that I did, that's really only, I set it at 4 as opposed to 2, because I figured based on the commission it would be a better fit, but that could be changed if anyone is of the mindset. And that the 4-year term was consistent with what other communities are doing.
As it was written. Anybody else have any questions, issues with this Housatonic River Estuary ordinance? Yes, sir.
I don't think
Mike.
it happened, but I noticed,
Where are you?
I wasn't here, B, at 7-2. I wasn't here at last month's meeting. I see it's a 7-member board, 6, and they will elect the member at large. What would happen if they had a tie vote 3-3 for an at-large member? How would that break a tie?
That-
It seems like the 6 of them are going to elect from one of the 6 towns.
That'll have to be decided once the group forms their I'm going to call it a charter or ordinance for them.
Okay.
That would that would have to be decided by that group.
Their bylaws would have to govern.
Govern.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Is there anything else on this? Any questions, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing on this, and then take a motion on it. Nastri, Goldblatt, okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Oppose, abstain, unanimous. Good way to start the night. Okay. Minutes. The minutes of the July 11th Selectmen's meeting. Who's first? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you. Is there a second? Goldblatt and Astry. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Yeah, I forgot, they were not in attendance last month. So 4-2. 4 in favor, 2 abstentions. Yeah, no negatives. Guys broke my, well, it's kind of unanimous, you weren't here. Okay, number 1 under new business. The New Haven and Derby Railroad Club requests to hang a banner for the annual train show, Joel Mandel. You have to come up to the microphone here, sir, and give your name and address, and tell us what you wish to do and
Sure.
when.
My name is Joel Mandel, 169 Surrey Drive in Orange. I'm the president of the New Haven and Derby Railroad Club. And annually, we have a train show at the High Plains. That's the October 7th. It's the Columbus Day Sunday prior to the Columbus Day holiday. We've done it for 15 years, and we had an idea to put a banner up across Route 152 to basically advertise the train show.
Okay, the event is on October 8th. Usually we allow 2 weeks prior to the event. You get the banner made, you deliver it to the Public Works garage if we approve all this, and they will hang it for about 2 weeks, and then they'll take it down. It'll be there, whoever is in charge of it can pick it up. If we have real windy weather, sometimes they do get damaged, just so you're aware of that.
Yes,
Um,
we'll pray
So-
for no wind.
Yes, so I would say that this would be up from the last week of September. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but about the last week of September. Is there any discussion on allowing the Railroad Club to have a banner? Mitchell?
Yeah, just a quick one. I know that Mr. Lieberman likes to see, for the first time, when a group is doing their banners, likes to go over the specifics, because we have had occasion where the banner's been of an inferior quality and just rips and rolls up very quickly. So you just want to make sure that you have the specs that he's approved for other banners, and it's worked well since then.
I have been told by Sinorama on the Post Road that they would give us a quality banner.
Yeah, that's who has made a lot of them for the...
Not all of them, we've noticed.
Yeah, so, okay, any other discussion? Hearing none. Do we have a
Motion to
motion?
approve.
Okay, Goldblatt, Oakenquist, all in favor? Opposed, abstain? That's the way I like it.
Thank you.
You're all set. Order your banner. Item number 2, Green Meadow Farms request to rent the Orange Fairgrounds for the Spring '08 Cultural Festival. We all know Mr. Keys. He's been before us on several events. How are you?
Been here since, I think 2003 was the first year. So, in our event this year, in fact, you know, I don't want to be
matter?
boring all the time. Let me hand out the report cards we got from all the schools. You know, what we do is, you can just look at them, so, just, since you all know who I am. This past year, everything went perfectly smooth. Fortunately, you put in a new parking lot in the back, and we use that to park the buses where you're just back by the new building.
Oh, okay.
So we use that. It worked out excellent. And next year we'd like to come for the same period, the week before Memorial Day, and We'd like to reserve the 20th and the 21st, which is a Tuesday and Wednesday, and the 22nd is an additional operating day or as a rain day. One of these years, I'm going to get a lot more people, so it's just a matter of time.
Okay, I see they didn't go up on your rent either. They're being rather generous with you, Mr. Keys. Because you've been here this many years that you've told me it's the same number.
I just can't,
Can't break that threshold.
In New York, it took me 10 years to break that ceiling, and it just,
Okay.
I haven't broken it yet here, but every year I drive here, there's more and more traffic. There's more and more traffic every year,
Same
so
thing
it's
we
just
always
a matter
use,
of time.
Dan, is this the same contract we've used every year
Yeah.
previous? Okay.
Yep.
Any discussion for Mr. Keys? Oh,
Yes, Joe.
I have to yield to Mr. Blake first with the punch in
Thank
the
you,
eye.
thank
here.
you, thank
Don't
you.
take your grandchild.
I won't, not the one
Can
that
Ogat
disliked me
do
that
a
day.
focus on
A
that?
quick question, looking at the comment cards quickly, without going into any particular one. How does your group address the negative comments that you get on those report cards?
Well, the reason we hand them out too is if we get the report card back, we make the change, whatever it is, if it's a reasonable change. You know, when somebody puts down that the sound system's not working, then the reason we do it is to constantly improve. If anybody ever saw us operate, they would know that we're constantly making improvements. That's why I brought all the negative ones too, because you never operate without getting a negative comment, and because we're not perfect. I don't know which ones you're looking at, but that's why.
Not publicly mention it.
Oh, that's okay.
But it's just
It's
that,
fine.
well, if you will, then.
Yeah, really, sure.
I'll-
We're always,
Jimmy will take care of it.
That particular one right there.
the first one? Okay.
Had-
Okay, sure, that's fine. Performers seem to discriminate against students wearing Catholic school uniforms. Example, Ramona needed to choose 11 people, and she went to the second and third bleacher. We were in the third. Mud Brothers also avoided our section. You know, what's interesting is as soon as we got this card, we immediately talked to everybody. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. There's no reason why we would discriminate against Catholic schools. Most of us are Catholic. So I am. So most of our performers are. So it was just an odd situation. That's why I brought them all.
Okay.
Because you're always looking for that.
All right, so Ramona's not coming to Orange.
Well, actually.
Your answer satisfies my,
Actually, she's
inquiry.
not, but it's not because of that card. She was an excellent performer, but the performer that we had in that position, the female Native America, she had a job in Saudi Arabia during that time. During that whole period, she was performing in Saudi Arabia, so she wasn't available. So, but Ramona did an excellent job, and
Except with the
it's
Catholics.
just by chance. So sometimes we get comments that are comical, but we're always asking for comments. So always trying to improve. I would like to recommend, for some reason, we didn't get any Orange schools this year, and we let them come for half price. I personally went with another person to every single school. We went to about 300 schools, and give them the information. I didn't get a response from an Orange school. I don't know why. It's got to go to probably the superintendent. Sometimes the more formal the school district is, those are the tougher ones we have to penetrate. So.
Yeah,
it's
but
gotta
the
be-
kids from the Orange schools had been there.
They had been.
in previous years.
I didn't get any this year.
Okay.
And it's always, and I always cringe if I don't see any on the list. I think, oh, geez, they're going to think that we're not doing a good
I
job.
knew Ramona was there.
Yeah, that was-
Okay.
When I got that, I'd never seen that before, but I'm sure that was.
Do you notify them way in advance that it,
We went in January to,
That's
the
pretty
first
far
2
in
weeks of
advance.
January, we went to every single school, not only here, but in a, Middlebury.
Radius, yeah.
To
That's
Clinton,
fine.
where the Greenwich on one side, Middlebury, is it Middlebury? Waterbury on the north. We get every school in between, school by school.
no problem.
And for some reason, we give them the notice too, that they can come for half price. I don't know. We're good enough for them.
Yeah.
We're the best field trip in Connecticut, so.
I'll make a motion unless another member wants to pass the,
We'll note it that you're gonna do that.
let Joe make the motion at the time. Two quick comments. One is maybe, based on the last comments, Dan, that the school needs to be spoken to in September because maybe there's some budgeting situations that get laid out early in the year, and January may be too late, actually, for that purpose. Just a thought. I don't know the reason. The other question I have really is for Jim more than you, Dan. It has to do with the power line situation, where I think they've used that area to park buses in the past.
Yeah, but he already said
But
they're
he's gonna-
using the new area
The
down.
new
by
area is going to be good.
Perfect.
Okay.
It worked,
And
it worked.
you don't
much
need
better.
I realize you said that, but you don't need the area under the power lines at all anymore then, because it's not available at the moment,
No.
so, okay,
We built that new area.
Huh?
We got that new
Right.
area built
No.
for you there,
okay.
Nope.
Very good.
and it works perfect.
Perfect. It was,
Okay.
We didn't
You
get any
see-
buses stuck like we usually do underneath the power
You see our new building?
They were working on it when,
There's a new Morton building there now. It's a beautiful building.
yeah, they were
For
working
the
on
fair.
it.
I'll move it along by making a motion.
Okay, they're easy tonight, okay. We have a motion and a second. Blake and Nastri, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed, abstained?
Yeah, if somebody,
Unanimous.
if somebody speaks with the superintendent, just mention it. It's half price. It's half price, you can't, I mean, we get groups from Hartford, get groups from,
Okay, you're all set, you don't have to sell it.
word.
You're done, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I think if you bought a red tractor would help. That blue tractor is holding some of them back. Okay. Item number 3, Farm Hill Road, Ridge Road request for roadblocks for a block party. Paul Borelli is here, yep, okay. I think we've had this one before us before. Mr. Borelli, you want to tell us?
Paul Borelli, 60 Farm Hill Road. Yeah, we're going to have our 4th annual block party, September 1st, with a rain date of September 2nd. And we'll close off the road at Ridge and Meeting House Lane Extension.
All right, so you don't actually close Ridge Road, you just close Farm Hill?
Right.
Okay.
on
And the
both
town
sections.
provides
Horses.
sawhorses, and you get permission from the notified police, fire department?
Yes, yep.
Okay,
Yeah, they've got the copy of the letter that you have right there.
all right, and we've done this one before.
Move approval.
Very good. Okay, Nastri, Okenquist, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed, abstain? Unanimous. Okay. Item number 4, South Greenbrier Burning Tree request for roadblocks for block party. Mr. Don Lewis. who is
Don
also-
Lewis, 727 North Greenbrier Drive. The neighbors of the area, North and South Greenbrier, Brentwood, and Burning Tree, have requested that I appear here to seek your approval for their 6th annual block party.
We thank you for appearing. Okay, I think, again,
And again,
it helps that you are the chairman of the police commission, so can you please notify the police commission that you're blocking the road?
I have notified the highway department, Mr. Foyer and his department will furnish the roadblocks, and I have notified the chief Gamme, so they're aware of it as well. It's
Okay,
September the 8th and a rain date of September the 9th, Sunday.
okay,
The north and the south getting together.
Go Black Cosacrio. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Thank you, one and all.
Would you like to plug the Rotary while you're up here for the lobsters?
Well, could you give me 30 seconds? Yes.
Go ahead.
Saturday, the 18th of August, starting at 3:30 p.m., the Orange Rotary Club is holding its annual Lobster Fest, and we invite you all from town to come and join us for the day. It's a wonderful event. The proceeds certainly help out all the charitable organizations of town and internationally. So please, come and join us for the day. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, number 5. Oh, okay. Number 5, redesign of the service road network and construction of the parking lot at the Old Tavern Road Recreation Area. As you know, the town received a grant of about $200,000 late in the year last year, and they've been working on design and layout, which we've seen prior to this, and the zoning board gave a favorable vote at their meeting for 8-24 referral for municipal improvements. And haven't we approved that parking lot? Or now, should we approve it, or do you want to push it till next month to see a plan of it?
That was my question, Jim.
Mr. Allen is here, he can probably help me on this one.
We don't have any plans in front of us. As I recall, the network of the road was being reversed and dead-ended there, and quite frankly, I was not in favor of that particular design, but that notwithstanding, we don't really have a proposal before us.
No, I think it's kind of an FYI almost.
But I think, Vincent, we have to take action, don't we? I mean, it's a municipal improvement. It gets recommended from zoning to us, and
Yeah, but you don't have anything, you don't have the design.
There's no design before, so all it is a notification of their approval of the 8-24. I'm going to say, let's put this off to the September meeting. We'll have somebody from their group will appear with the maps. I think we do give it favorable recommendation. I think we already did in the past, but I think that we should see a final plan before it's done. Mr. McGinnis did talk to me today about it, and, he
well,
didn't...
that being said, then I'll make a
We'll have
motion
it
to
for
table.
September. Just push
Motion
it to September.
table,
Yes. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
second.
everybody agree with that? I have to ask. Yes? Unanimous, thank you. It wasn't a motion, it was just discussion.
Motion to table.
Yeah, it's nothing. Okay, milling and repaving of sections of Dogwood and Dogburn roads. As you know, I have directed Mr. Lieberman this year on a very diligent road rebuilding, repairing, drainage projects around the town, because we have a lot of roads that are in very poor condition and need a lot of work. And I said that I was going to keep whipping at them to get some of these roads milled and paved. And like, I don't know how many of you have been up Turkey Hill Road, but that's one of our first examples of what we're doing, fixing a lot of roads around the town that have to be done. So, Mr. Lieberman, town engineer.
We selected 3 sections of road because the chip sealing is not holding there. Dogwood Road from Route 1 to New Haven Avenue, and then from Cummings Road to Route 34, then across Route 34, Dogburn Road from Route 34 north to the little shed on the left. I believe it was green. I don't know what color it is now.
Still-
It's a water company shed.
It's rotten.
And the bids came in, as you see, and the same combination of Garrity Milling and Empire Repaving as did Turkey Hill were the low bidders. And I've asked for a 5% contingency. For one reason, at the time I asked for it, I found out after just when the bids came in, there may be some railroad track crossing Dogwood Road.
I think it was pulled up in the wartime for scrap.
Well, just in case, and then there was a little section of one of the intersections added, so there will be a little extra cost.
Very good.
So I'm asking for a $164,000 budget, and to give Garrity the milling and Empire the repaving.
Well, the Turkey Hill Road job was excellent. I think they did that job for around 98,000.
Yep.
This is more distance?
Yes, and a
Okay.
little more traffic problem with the narrow roads.
Okay.
My only concern on the Cummings to 34, it's quite a turn, making sure that there's proper security guards, whatever they call them, traffic control,
That's
police
their
or somebody.
The road will, since you live right in that neighborhood, Joe, you'll know that piece of road, while they're working on it, will be closed. They won't,
That I didn't know.
they're gonna have to close it so that they can mill it. In that area, that milling machine is as darn near as big as half this room.
Okay.
If there's a car coming around one of those bends, lickety-split,
that's-
it's gonna be a problem.
Right.
They
that's
gotta
my-
close it.
Oh, that's my concern. Then it's good to let the neighbors know that, I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
the
We will not-
main artery.
That's process. Yep, that's part of it.
Well, what's the traffic pattern? Go over Chestnut Ridge and around probably?
I don't drive that way, so I don't know.
I'll let you know.
We've-
It's your neighborhood.
That's up to the contractor. They'll
Yeah.
decide with the police.
Okay, yes, Mitchell.
Ed, will there be any widening at all of any of these areas?
No.
Be exactly the same? Because some of the spots are, especially as Joe mentioned on the bends, are extremely narrow. And there's
We don't have the right-of-way.
none at all.
Nope.
It's one of those old town roads.
Okay.
Would
If you start
probably-
widening it, the wider you make it, the faster they go. Any other questions? I got one. None of you are asking it? Where's the money, Ed?
State grant, town aid roads.
Okay. I know, but you want to hear it said. Okay,
Move approval.
okay. Okay, Nastry Oakenquist. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Very good. Terminology and fee schedule for Department of Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission. Nobody here to represent this tonight? Oh, Scott's here.
Yeah, he's so skinny you couldn't see him.
Saw the hair coming.
Good evening, gentlemen, ladies, and
Our Scott Allen, our Inland Wetlands Enforcement Officer.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I am here tonight because Charter says I need to be here for fee changes to the Town of Orange Inland Wetlands and Watercourse regulations. And per Connecticut General Statutes 22A-42A, D1C to be exact, and the town regs 31, I'm not going to go so fast here, I'm going to make you sit here and suffer through all this, 381-5. In part, the Connecticut General Statutes state that the agency shall cause, meaning the commission shall cause, that notice of order to be posted in the newspaper of general circulation in the town for any orders that the Wetlands Agency gives, either approvals, denials, violations, etc. We currently spend $85 for those notices each and every time. Through the New Haven Register, and we charge $100 for a new residential structure as a filing fee, combination, and permit fee, including inspections after the home is constructed or the dwelling is constructed. So it is, as you can see, clearly a losing proposition for the community. So the Wetlands Commission voted to raise their residential new dwelling fees to $200 from $100 in order to help to defray.
Good.
Do you have a
Finish your
question?
statement. Yeah, I do, but finish your statement.
And help to defray that cost and give us a little bit of money for our administrative.
Okay, most of the time when I've sat on this board and we've had permit increases, usually it was with zoning, they listed the old fee and the new, just so we had a idea of where you were going. So my first question is, did every fee on here change? And if so, could you walk us through, you have a copy of this in front of you?
I do.
Can you walk us through it and tell us what the current was as opposed to what the new would be?
There's a lot of additions as we get down to item 8.
Okay,
But not, the number 4A, new dwelling, was $100. We've doubled that to $200, and same thing with item number 5, which is subdivision. First item, first lot $200, and additional lots We left that at the $100, that is still the same. And same with the $100 per dwelling unit plus the wetlands activity fee, which you should see on the back side if you have the double-sided, or if you have 2 pages. I'm not sure what you all received. You have both pages. Okay, so the back side is the direct wetland activity fee.
Okay. Continue.
Item number 8 and item number 9, you'll see other activities or uses, and in light of several applications that have come forth to the Wetlands Commission in the past few months, rain gardens have been a topic of discussion. I may add that there is a rain garden proposed for the parking lot expansion of the Old Tavern Road ball field, just so we will have one in town that we can monitor and see how they really do function, and hopefully it'll improve the water quality out there from the parking lot. So we've added rain gardens, and some of them have galleries, detention galleries or retention galleries underneath them. So we've assigned a fee to those to cover the inspection, because it does take some time to look at those. 8B, watercourse crossing, is the same. That is something we've had in there. It is when either a culvert or an aqueduct is proposed, or even a bridge is proposed. There is a fee associated with that, and again, plus the direct wetland activity fee. We also have come across 8C is a biofiltration system, which is another form of water quality system. It's similar to a detention pond, but quite shallow, and there are about 4 of those in town now. We've never had a fee associated with those, and they are very time-consuming as far as first plan review and second multiple site inspections. So we have the commission has assigned a fee to that. Stormwater discharge 8D to a wetland area, $200 per acre of impervious surface, including roofs, at a 1 acre threshold. That is something that we have had for quite some time now. And then E, stormwater detention ponds have been included for a good number of years, but we've also added below-grade infiltration units, i.e. the underground infiltration units that 99 has put them in, the Go Green, CVS, there's several on, and more in the commercial side. We did not have a fee associated with that, so again, time for plan review and time for on-site inspections, usually multiple, etc. Item number 9, residential single-family roof footing infiltrators for new units. Basically, that is something that we have been requiring through the commission for, I'm going to say, probably 6 to 8 years now. There's never been a fee associated with that. We tried to back up a little bit. Some of these fees have been roughly based on an average of about $45 per hour to come up with some of the numbers that we've used here. So we've added that $45 just to cover the trip out there to take a look and see what's going on. They're typically not too much of an issue, other than whoever the plumber is that's installing them typically puts the piping together backwards so that they will leak. And usually that requires a re-inspect, typically at no charge. And then again with rain gardens, 9B, single-family rain gardens, that should be single-family residence rain gardens with no wetland activities, galleries. That was decided to go at a no charge. Reason being is that they want to promote folks to want to take their downspouts and put them into a constructed rain garden on their properties that they can do with a shovel and some mulch and some sand, etc. Certainly, we would like to be made aware when people do that, just so that we have an idea of how they're working and be able to, if they allow us to take a look at those. So that's the reason that has been put in there and added, and hopefully we would like to see that continue to grow. And then a modification extension of previous approval still remains $65, which it has for more years than I care to remember. And then the back page, item 10, direct wetland activity, used to read that was for any activity that fell within the regulated area, which at the time that this fee schedule was put together was at 40 feet. We've now gone to 100 feet, and we've discovered that some applications would actually be about a $99,000 fee based on the square footage that occurred within that 100-foot area. So it's been altered to allow activity within the regulated area, but direct wetlands impacts will have the fees as associated. And they're actually basically, other than the over 5,000, which went to, I take it back, I apologize, they are all identical to what they were when they were a regulated activity as opposed to a direct.
So there's no
direct
change
wetland.
with those?
So there's no change to those.
So,
Map
items,
amendments are the same.
okay, so items 8 and 9 are new.
Some of them,
Okay.
some of them.
And then the only changes were 4 and 5, you doubled.
For the first lot on the subdivision was doubled, yes, the additional lots remain
Yeah,
the same.
100, you went from 100 to 200 on 4A and 5A, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So-
Does anybody have any trouble with inland wetlands watercourses raising these fees?
What about 11, is that a change?
Oh, you're right, I didn't see that.
11 is not a change. It is not a change. And for some reason, I don't know why I see that you also have the note here that went to the commissioners. You can strike that. That was something for their deliberations later on.
Okay. Yes, Mitchell?
Questions for you, Scott. Thank you very much for the explanation. On
You're welcome.
8D, what does it mean when it says 1 acre threshold?
Means they're gonna pay $200 regardless. It's $200 per acre.
Right.
So their first application fee where that hits, they may only be a half or 3/4 of an acre, but they're paying for an acre.
So if it's an acre and a half, they're going to pay $400?
No, then it would be $300. You pay $200 for the first acre, and then
Was it-
do you
No,
prorate it?
Mitch
You
is
don't
correct.
prorate it.
$400.
Okay. There you
The
go.
reason being is,
I think it just needs to be clarified.
I'll clarify why, but the reason being is that so many times when we ask for, with engineering firms to use their CAD design to quickly come up with the impervious surfaces, which would take me days to do by hand, you know, obviously, numbers, quite frankly, I mean, very honestly, numbers can be massaged a little bit, so they can stick themselves down at 90, you know, .97 acres, .97 acres, and rather than try to nitpick and go back and forth, if someone says to me, look, I'm only 1.25 acres, then maybe we could possibly negotiate that down a little bit, but the idea is that anything that looks like it might be being fudged a little bit, you're going to pay for it regardless. So in other words, tell us the truth is basically what it boils down to.
Okay, I just thought the 1 acre threshold just wasn't clear. I mean, maybe we should say $200 per acre, or we are part thereof, you know? And the other
We
question,
certainly can entertain that.
well, I think it, you know, I mean, are we able to make changes to this, since they've already voted on it? Are we able to make changes, send it back, or we could have to approve it or disapprove it as is?
I don't know. What have you done with your commission?
Our commission has adopted these via vote.
They could amend it.
I think if you were to disapprove it, it would go back to that commission.
Correct.
But can we approve it with a couple corrections or changes? I have another one I wanted to
With
make.
recommendation.
Yeah, okay. The other recommendation, then, I'd say, there seems to be some inconsistency with the
Right.
wetland, all throughout it, wetland activity fee. In one case, it says, under 8B, it says direct wetland activity fee. 10 is called direct wetland activity. I imagine that's the fees.
Those are the fees.
But in other cases, it just says wetland activity fee, and I think it should just be consistent throughout, whether it says wetland activity fee or direct wetland activity fee, in all cases, one way or the other.
Quite frankly, I was a little bit surprised when I glanced down at this. I thought that had been corrected. We had talked about it
Oh, really?
at our commission
Okay.
meetings. It was brought up, and I was a little bit surprised myself. I did not scrutinize this as carefully as I probably should have. I apologize for that, but I know that change had been made, and I know when it went out to the commissioners for their, when it went out to the commission, they did also realize that did not come out right, and it was changed, so I'm surprised that we did not get you the amended
So I think you
changes.
can make a motion to approve this with your recommended,
I was just about to say, I'll make,
just some cleanup of verbiage. 9C also, I think it's supposed to be extension of previous approval, not pervious approval.
That's a good catch.
Yeah, but I think it's just strictly some language things. It's not anything
Right.
that's substantive.
So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission with, I would recommend 3 recommended changes. One is that 8D be clarified in terms of partial acres. You can word it any way you want, but the way it's worded now is too confusing. The second is 9C be changed from pervious to previous. And then the third thing would be that there be some consistency between the wetland activity fee language throughout the document.
Points very well taken, thank you.
Okay, second by Roy. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Thank you. Item number 8.
Thank you all, have a good evening.
Thank you, Scott. Check on Ralph's house. Are you over there yet? Make sure everything's good. He's not listening. Never mind. This is the Light the Night program. It's an agreement with Erstat Biddle. Erstat Biddle is the shopping center where Bertucci's is on the corner of, Trader Joe's, Talbot's, and LL Bean is taking 13,000 square feet in that store, or that shopping complex. If you read the papers this morning, we've all talked about it, but yes, LL Bean Outlet Store is coming to Orange. Mr. Grimmer,
Good evening,
OEDC
everybody.
Director.
What we're doing, you probably have already seen them. We've installed 25 decorative lights along the Boston Post Road. We established the first set that we did is at the beginning of Milford Town Line and every major intersection all the way on up to West Haven Town Line. The reason why we did that is to be able to stretch out the project as much as we could, but then also encourage private investment in these lights on their properties. So that way, the state of Connecticut and the town of Orange doesn't have to pick up the full freight of lighting up the entire Boston Post Road. When I had an opportunity to meet with the people from Erstat Biddle to talk about the LL Bean project, the vice president, I believe he's Vice President Wayne Worth, indicated that he loved the light at the corner, which is the one right at Bertucci's, and wanted to know who was installing them. I informed him that the town of Orange was installing them, and he said, "How do I get one?" Well, after some discussion, he has agreed to pay for all of the lights along the Boston Post Road that borders, basically the frontage of his property.
Shopping center.
Right. And because it is a state road and the permit's been taken out by the town of Orange and, or not, but for the town of Orange, I'm bringing this to you because what we're anticipating is having the Orange Economic Development Corporation manage the project, very similar to how we're managing exactly how we're managing the project with the Boston Post Road Committee. First thing we need to do is we needed to get the property engineered. You'll see there was a cost there of $1,650 by Musco Engineering, who's currently doing the work now. The lighting products are purchased via the United Illuminating Company's Light the Night program, and they're being purchased from a manufacturer called Holophane. United Illuminating Company discounts the cost of those lights for this project, and each individual light pole, including the base, cost in the first 2 phases $2,780. You'll notice there at the end of the paragraph it says it is anticipated that the actual cost of these lights will be within 10 to 15% of this price. Those prices were developed, I'd say, about 8 months ago. They were updated about a month and a half ago, but every time we put in an order, they have to get repriced. So we expect that those prices to come in exactly at $2,780. And in case there was an overrun in the cost, I just wanted to make Erstat Biddle aware of what their obligation might be. Also, we're trying to get the benefit of utilizing the contractor that we currently have on site. We would negotiate a price and manage it through a change order. That company's name is Pereira Construction. They've really done an absolutely fabulous job so far, and we would like to use them, continue to use them. And the only thing Erstad Biddle has requested as a result of their participation in here is they love the light banners, the banners that actually go on the light poles, and they ask for the right of first refusal to be able to advertise
Theirs.
their businesses on the lights that they install, which I thought was a fair offer. And because of the connection between the town of Orange, the original grant came from a steep grant that was provided to the town. The service agreement that we sign with the United Illuminating Company for the Light the Night is between UI and the town. The permit was taken out on behalf of the town. It's only appropriate that you approve this particular agreement before we go forward. I provided copies to you, Corporation Counsel. If anybody has any comments, suggestions, I'd be happy to take them.
Well, when we did this originally on the
Microphone.
Boston Post Road Committee, we covered the entire stretch of the Boston Post Road, didn't we, at that time?
No.
Or did we just do partial?
We only have money to pay for the initial 33. We have approximately 88 that we would expect to be installed all along.
Okay, so this is in addition to the original
Yes.
proposal that we
Yes.
had. That's
This would actually, these 5, 3 this year, 2 next year, would basically come out of that 88. Okay. So when this is done, I'm sorry, 1 second, when this is done, which I would expect maybe October, we will have 36 of those 88 already installed. And remember too, is even though we're installing new lights, the Cobra heads, the corresponding Cobra heads will be taken down, so we'll actually be receiving that savings, the lighting
old street
savings.
lights.
The old street lights.
Yeah.
How does that compare in wattage? Do you know? These are 250 watts. I think those were higher wattage.
Those were higher wattages. I don't remember exactly. I remember way back, maybe 4 years ago, we got the prices
You know, with
from...
the cost of electricity, it's more of an issue today than it was then.
Exactly.
These are more efficient.
I think there was a savings in,
I believe you're right, but I can get you that information too.
Mitchell, I know you have a question.
Ralph did too, but it's all right. Just want to make sure that two things. One is you said that we split between 2 years. They're not going to do all 5 at once?
They can't, they said they're putting so much we would like to have them to do it, but they asked if they could stretch it out over a
Okay.
period of
That's
2
fine.
years.
And the second thing is they are going to look exactly the same as the ones being put-
Identical,
Same length.
very same height,
Color.
same color, same everything.
We're hoping that, like Harry Traub, there at Peck and Post will consider these next, and you'll have them here and over there, as it works up the Post Road. They might even consider on Peck Lane there,
Right.
where you go into Yeast Fortune.
And really, the reason why we
Trader
need
Joe's.
Musco Engineering too is because there are some areas there that just, you can't put lights on, because of a lot of the underground utilities. AT&T's main trunk line goes right down the side of the road where Orange Fence is. They've got a big sign up. If you damage this, you will be fined $100,000 an hour. Yeah, I mean, it was...
Fence won't be putting up any lamping.
So the engineering and the call before you dig is essential.
Yes, Ralph.
Yes.
When you talked about the 88 lights,
Mm-hmm.
were they projected to be the same linear footage between each of those 88?
Yes, we're trying to keep them. If you notice, most of the Cobra heads are the same kind of linear distance between each other. That actually has more to do with they can only string the lines so long. But what we're anticipating is about 120 feet between each lamp pole.
So that matches what they want to
Yes.
do over there?
Yes.
The only other question I have is, if we agree to let them do it and put up their banners, is that going to cause...
Well, they're still the same banners as ours. They buy
Right.
the
but-
banner for theirs,
Right,
and,
but they're
but they
gonna put
get
up, they're gonna put up 3 or 4 for
Right.
their.
Right.
thing.
vendors.
Now, will other people on a post road, if they wanna do it also?
That's fine.
I would
It's on their property.
anticipate that we would extend that same courtesy.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, any more questions? Have a motion? Goldblatt and Astry, any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain?
It's unanimous.
Unanimous.
May I make a service announcement?
Yes, you may.
Anybody that would like to purchase Rotary Lobster Fest tickets, they can please come to my office. I've got 10 to sell.
Very good. You can call
Thank you.
Paul Grimmer at 891-1045.
Yes.
And if he's not there, leave a message. He will get right back to you. He will be glad. He is another Rotarian hawking tickets for the lobster and steak dinners.
Thank you,
You know,
everybody.
Paul is doing, just while he's here, we have a lot of activity right now, and he's been running in a lot of directions, but we got a lot of good economic growth popping along that you guys are going to be hearing about shortly. It's really very exciting. All of a sudden, things are coming to life, and we've had a lot of meetings in the last few weeks, and things are really looking good for us. So thank you, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. This one is an interesting one. ASCAP license fee. Watch that title there, Mr. Blake. This one, I had heard about this probably 2 years ago. They started down in Fairfield, Westchester down there, hitting municipalities down there, and I guess some had taken them to court and lost, and I really am annoyed by it, quite honestly. The way they do business, they pay royalty fees to musicians, over the years, and that in itself is a good thing, but I have a friend who, he and his wife and children just moved into town here recently, and he's in the music business, and while talking to him, he told me that only certain groups or performers can collect on it if they don't, in their particular instance, if they're bands that don't tour anymore, they don't collect on it. So I don't know if they're quite fair in their way they administer, but that seems to be a battle for the entertainers themselves that have to take on. But to me, for us to have to pay, it's only $250, $284. For us to be allowed, this will cover the town of Orange because everything we do falls under it, whether it's Flag Day or the Orange Country Fair or one of the event committee things, and, Rod's waving back there. We're covered as far as the population counts and all that are required. But it seems pretty amazing to me that municipalities will get people together, like the holiday festival, you're singing, you may sing White Christmas or, I don't know, Jingle Bells or something, and those type of songs, and they have, I won't call them spies, I'll call them representatives that go around and monitor these events, and then if you don't have a license fee, and you've sung these songs that are licensed by people that they represent, you then get fined. If you refuse, you could end up in court, and it could cost you a lot more than that. So the $284 is minimal, but it sticks me right here, because it seems, like you're gonna pay a royalty so that we can sing Happy Birthday or something. It's just very annoying to me.
What's the acronym stand for?
ASCAP, where is it?
American Society of Composers and something else like that.
American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers.
Did you hear that? It's the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers.
They must all of a sudden need money, because the other day I read in the paper where there was a lawsuit settled on something similar to this, fined very heavily on it.
It's got to be with the advent of the, the digital, the downloading, that the people are not buying in the store.
And like I said, this friend of mine who's in the music industry said, "Oh, who is that? Is that such and such?" And he threw another one of these acronym-type names out at me, and I said, "No, that's not it. It's, this ASCAP." And he said, "Oh, well, you'll be hearing from this other one, too." So there's more than one of these out there that we're going to end up hearing from. So I'm looking for some thoughts from some other people on this, because you heard mine. Mitchell?
Now, my thoughts aren't much different than yours, Jim, except that I want to not act on this tonight and ask you to check with CCM or some other organization that we deal with, that just to make sure that, two things. One is what we're being charged, which does sound reasonable if we're going to be charged anything, is in agreement with what other communities are going through. And number two, is maybe find out whether this is legitimate, and that whether there's others coming down the road that we should be aware of. I mean, it just seems that we should know what we're doing before we sign on to
No,
this.
it is legitimate, because I read there was an article from a widow of a composer up in Southbury who was interviewed on this for, I think New Milford maybe was taking them to court, and I think they lost. But Dennis, our cameraman here, is involved in Milford, being from Milford. And they had to pay, in Milford, he thinks $600. It's based on, population and all, too. So it's annoying to me. I know Vincent did had a little thought process on this also.
Jim,
Roy?
I would say, it's, I hate to call it a form of extortion or whatever it is, but if we are going to pay it, and this doesn't cover every eventuality, then I think it's fair for us to ask them for a list of songs that this does cover.
Oh, I already tried that in the stall. I tried to hold it up that way, and I got a rather scathing email back that you can go onto their website, and we'll tell you what's covered. It covers, all I could get out of them is it covers thousands and thousands
Because you can
of
see,
pieces of material.
People coming down the road for a long period of time with this kind of thing.
Right, but if it doesn't cover the national anthem, we're in trouble. If something else does. I mean, that's my concern.
I don't think the guy who wrote the national anthem is
how
still
does,
touring.
I understand that, but I'm sure it's covered somewhere. Just like
so.
Happy Birthday is.
how do the performers or publishers receive any payment as a result of this? Do they have to know exactly where one of their songs is sung in every place in the country?
No, it must be based on some sort of a percentage thing, and they're just working their way across the country. Yeah. You have anything to say on this, attorney?
I had one of my associates prepare a memo. I was caught up in court today, and then my day got away from me, so I left that on my desk. I would suggest, though, before you take action, that maybe the matter is tabled a month. I think we've been putting the matter off for a while enough time that another
6
month
months.
is not going to kill anything, so that I can forward my memo to you. I believe the memo, if my recollection serves me, and the memo is older, because I think we started looking at this about 6 months ago, that we came to a different conclusion, that we did not have to sign on to it. But I'd like the opportunity myself to review the memo again. I'd like you all to digest it and give your thoughts. When you're looking, when I look at these things, obviously, to the extent you're not obligated to do it, you don't do it, except when you're talking about a de minimis amount of money and the possibility of litigation. Obviously, the payment of the de minimis amount of money, getting back to Selectman Cozzacrio's characterization of what it might be, makes sense to pay the $284. But I think you all deserve the opportunity to review the memo and discuss it after you've reviewed it.
I just find it just annoys me. And I mean, if you look at the last page of it, what's covered? All government-owned buildings property, examples, background music in municipal buildings, music on hold in municipal buildings, employee functions parties, city buses and trains, libraries, water aerobics and swimming pools, and it goes on, senior center dances, I mean, golf and tennis center snack, I mean, it's just, I can't say what I'd like to say.
How do they police it?
They send representatives, just lurk in the night, at events and stuff. And actually, this is going up. When I started with them, it was $254.
Is this an annual payment?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Jim, they talk about, it's on, I don't know what page it is. It's the second page of the agreement. They talk about revenues. And most of the things that we hold here in Orange, there's no charge for them. But they get around that by saying that gross revenue, if there are no monies received from sale of tickets, gross revenue shall mean contributions from sponsors or other payments received by the licensee for each event. Now, at the beginning of that paragraph, or I think it's paragraph 4, they state that we have to make a report every year, or after each event. I lost it in here. But you have to identify, oh, here it is. It's under 4D. 90 days after the conclusion of each special event, we have to make a report identifying the date presented, the name of the attraction, gross revenue, and the license fee due for each special event. So that's how they keep track of it.
I'm not sure, Ralph, I read it myself before, but I think that was only if the special event exceeds an income of $25,000. That's the way I read, maybe I'm reading it wrong. In other words, under special events, it gives a figure of $25,000 on page, whatever page.
It's the first page in
First page.
A7.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I
It
right?
def-
Am
it
I
def-
right on that? If it exceeds $25,000, then you come under special events.
Right, but that could cover, I don't know, what the country fair.
Well, that's why that's why when I read it home, I was concerned about special events, because that's exactly what we call our committee, special events.
Right.
And I said, well, wait a minute, we have to pay extra for special events. We're going to change our name and not call it special events anymore, but just events, and nothing special. And that's why I saw the $25,000 in there. But, you know.
So you're all seeing it and thinking exactly like I am.
The gross revenue exceeds 25,000, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sit very well with you when you go through this thing and you read it and.
It could cause a problem when we get our Arts and Entertainment Center. I mean, that's going to be a stage performance and everything else there, and
But I'd like to get some idea of the liability. How many other organizations like this, and what does it take to,
I can try to find out. Like I said, I have a friend who's involved in the music industry. Maybe I can get a little more information from him.
maybe the website will give us some information.
Somewhere along the line, I'm not sure here.
Tomorrow after CHIPS, I think you can go online and search it, sir.
You got a job ahead of you, Anthony. Somewhere I read, either here or someplace else, that the way you get around that is if you're going to sing White Christmas, and ahead of time, you write to them like you would on permission to publicize something, a printed matter. I think the way to get around this is you know the songs, and you have to ask the publishers ahead of time permission to reproduce their song, which is a lot of baloney and
Now that I
planning.
think about it, just so all of you know, Mr. Blake has a computer now, too.
Are you ready to tell the world
It's
you're
been a very
going to
difficult week for me.
No.
As you can see, a very tough week. Computers, black eyes, what am I going to say?
Congratulations,
Okay, so at this time, you want to table it, do some more research
Yeah,
onto it?
I'll
I
make
think,
a motion to table this item at this time, and
Thank
Jim,
you.
once again reiterate, maybe CCM can be of some help here, too.
I asked Judy Gott about it, she didn't know any, they hadn't got out to Brantford, Guilford area yet. They didn't know anything about it. I said, don't worry, they're coming. Okay, at this point, that'll be tabled till September. Okay, yeah, Ralph, very good, okay. All in favor? Yeah, okay. Unanimous. Okay, very short list. tax refunds for the month of August in a total amount of $553.76. Thank you. Last item under new business is to disband the Noise Ordinance Study Committee. Mr. Cosacrio, has that hurt you?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, motion?
Maybe this one's not going to be unanimous.
Maybe nobody will make
Motion made. Is there a second? Oh, for lack of a second, it stands.
I'll second it because he's a nice guy.
Cosacrio, Blake. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Okay, committee reports. Capital Planning, Selectman Okenquist.
Okay. No report as such, but the Board of Finance has requested that I appear before them at their August meeting, which is a week from Monday, to identify what's happened with the projects for 2007 and where we're standing on the 2008 projects. So I can report on
Okay.
that next month.
Pension, Selectman Nastri.
We will meet later this month.
Okay, so September you'll have a report. School Building, Selectman Cosacrio.
Jim, actually, that committee was meeting concurrently
With
with
this.
us this evening, so I have no report this evening.
Okay. Selectman Blake, High Plains renovations.
I don't think it'll be any different, no report.
Okay, now, in this budget this year, Joe, they did,
I knew you'd get me
they do
something.
have money for the engineering study and all, so probably you
Yes.
should look into that and start thinking that south wing there, I
Right.
think, is, we're gonna renovate that part of the community center and the kitchen we're working on, I think are two areas.
Kitchen.
I really want to get moving on that. Okay, Personnel, Selectmen's Goldblatt and Okenquist. I don't know who's reporting tonight.
Well, your secretary has done a fine job. Has done a fine job in summarizing what we went through on
She
Monday.
is our secretary.
Our secretary.
The board.
The board secretary. We had a number of issues, items on the agenda, and I'll go through these briefly. We have to make a motion. We have to approve some of these. The first one was the changes that the OVNA, Director Davis has requested that we eliminate the on-call pay for weekdays, which would save the town $150 a week, and at the same time requested an increase on the weekend on-call from $30 to $50 a day. She felt that the weekdays could be handled with the personnel they have, but the weekends need outside support. So our committee agreed that we would approve that and bring it to the whole board. So at this time, the resulting savings is $110 a week, so it's a positive for us. So I'll make a motion that we approve that request.
Second.
Okay. Any question or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Fine. Approved.
Okay, the second item from the OVNA was, she also requested that, that we fund some nurses to oversee data and performance to help with state and federal requirements. I think you all know that every time we get involved with any kind of government, whether it's local, state, federal, there's all kinds of regulations that have to be followed, and it's getting worse and worse with medical. I know because my wife works in a medical office, so it's, the requirement's getting tougher all the time, and it's just more and more paperwork. So she's asked that we fund that activity. Now, at the same time, she will be using money she already has because nurses won't be performing other functions that were previously done. So there's no increase. It's just a change of activity. So I don't think we have to approve anything here. There's no funding changes.
No.
So, and that was unanimous by the Personnel Committee. Her third area was a home health aide. She asked for additional part-time help here on an hourly basis because the number of patients that they're handling in the past couple months has gone from 42 to 60.
6 weeks.
In 6 weeks. So She's asked that we approve a additional home health aide at a rate of $13.33 an hour. And the Personnel Committee agreed. So I'd like to make that motion that we get approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Excuse me, Rob, before you go on, the second item you mentioned, you said didn't require a vote, but our motion said to recommend to the Board of Selectmen to have the director hire 2 hourly nurses.
No.
No?
No.
I don't, do I have that paper? You're not hiring 2 hourly nurses, you're eliminating 2
To
hourly
oversee
nurses.
data and performance, all right, well,
That's for the quality improvement person.
right.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay, you're not hiring 2 hourly
No.
nurses. What she's doing is shifting money from 2 hourlies that she doesn't use
Right.
to a quality improvement person.
Okay,
So there's no increase in funding.
that's not what the minutes read. I know the minutes haven't been approved, but the minutes that are in front of us that state it differently. And I agree with your recollection of what we did, but it starts out by saying there's a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen, so I think whatever action there is, I think this board still needs to take action. Just on the top of page 2.
From the bottom of page 1 to top page 2. It says money,
Yeah, that's,
we agreed that we would shift the money from the nurse's account
right.
to a quality improvement person, but there's no increase in funding.
Yeah,
So
this,
it's all staying within their budget, it's just that they're performing a different function.
you know what, I'm gonna be quite honest with you, that somehow, I read these, obviously. And that got by me because, and I don't know how it did. It's not correct.
Well-
What it is we're shifting the money from the 2 hourly nurses
Right. To a quality improvement
to the
person.
quality improvement person. Correct.
Right. With no increase in funds. There's no increase.
Correct, there's no increase,
in
actually, there'll
cost.
probably be a savings. She is not hiring 2 hourly nurses. She's hiring a quality improvement person to oversee data and performance with state and federal requirements is what it is.
Can that be in the form of a motion? 'Cause it looks
Yeah.
like it's something we want this board to
Yes.
take action on.
All right, I'll make.
So what Jim just stated, I'll make a motion.
You make the motion, I'll second it. Okay.
Okay. All right, any
Okay.
discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Unanimous, thank you. Sorry for that confusion.
Now, there was also a request by our Community Service Director, Carol Nardini, for a clerical assistant due to the increased activity of the Community Services Department. Quite a bit of discussion on this item, and both Carol Nardini and Joanne Byrne, who is the Senior Services Coordinator, identified a number of functions that are happening on a yearly basis now with the increased effort of the Community Services Department. There are additional people, that the population of the senior center is increasing, there's more activities, there's more trips going on, and she asked for a person for approximately 19 hours a week at a rate of $10.83 an hour. After much discussion, the 3 members of the Personnel Committee agreed that it was probably the right thing to do. So I will make that motion that we approve that.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Unanimous.
One comment, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
The 3 of you have copies. We don't. Maybe the next time, the minutes of the meeting could be included in our packet, so we could kind of read along with you.
They're not approved yet, that's why you don't have them.
Well, we could have them, then approve them at the same time.
No, they're approved by
They're
us.
approved by the committee, not by.
Right, but
It's the committee minutes.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to have it in front of you to read it.
Good idea.
all right, next time we'll have them for you.
Probably, next time, we probably won't get as involved as it was this time. This is probably the most involved meeting we've had for a while. Our town treasurer came before us and requested a treasurer clerk position because of the amount of work that's become involved with the treasurer's position and bank reconciliations. He informed us that there's a lot of background work that needs to be done to clarify a number of the accounts within the treasurer's purview. And again, there was a lot of discussion about this, and it came down to the point that we said we would agree to it at a rate of $12 an hour. Again, it was a part-time position, probably on an average of 2 to 3 hours a day, probably a max of 15 to 19 hours a week. And the motion was passed by the three of us. It would take effect when it's approved, and it would be a max of $10,000 a year.
No.
No.
No, it's a part-time hourly thing. It's a clerical bookkeeping type of position. We have built a very strong finance department, and this is probably, I'll venture to say, one of the last pieces of the puzzle to track paperwork and transmittals and deposits and all that goes with it. If you go back, you can go back, and Anthony should remember this better than I, but there's been several audits, and in the management letter, there has always been outstanding unaccountable funds, and that generally comes from the process in which record keeping as far as deposits and transmittals and paperwork were processed or sent to the office of the treasurer to be tracked, and sometimes it's just not possible to track them all if they don't send you all the paperwork. And like I said, that's been a repeat management letter concern in the last 6 or 7 years, I guess, that have been in there.
One of the major things we talked about was the fact that there's money coming in from a number of departments within the town. And we really need somebody to track all this, keep a record of it all. And you probably all remember about a month or 2 months ago, North Haven had a very serious problem regarding their cash input within their Park and Recreation Department. And this is something we want to see not happen here in Orange. So this is one way we can do it, and try to coordinate a little better and try to set up some kind of procedures so the cash all comes into one place, rather than every department making a making a deposit at the bank.
Yeah, I know that we've had problems with bank reconciliations for quite a while because of the problem of tracing all these deposits. I think it's an area that has to be addressed. So I'd vote in favor of it.
Yeah.
I do myself, for obvious reasons. Does this also include revenue that the town clerk's office is taking in?
There's money coming in from almost every department in town. It comes in through community services, it comes in through Park and Rec, it comes in through the town clerk, it comes in through zoning. It's just there's so many places that it comes in. And by having someone there to coordinate all of these and set up procedures so that the money gets transferred into the clerk's position, rather than every department running to the bank and making a deposit. That way he will make the deposits, he will have the deposit slips, it's all in one place, rather than, because you figure with every department doing it and making deposits, it's very easy for a deposit slip to get put aside or get lost. This way, one person has the responsibility for it. So we felt...
To the fact it's difficult to trace what deposits were in that slip, because they give you a total.
That's right.
I'm sure this individual, without saying, but I will, this individual will have a background check and also be bonded under the town's bond.
It will be. It very, very possibly could be one of our employees who's already here, who has time available in their daily business, yeah. Oh, but absolutely, we're not going to put just,
Well,
anyway.
no, I'm saying, you have to have a background check, and and obviously,
absolutely.
be bonded.
Yep, absolutely.
Jim?
Yes, Mitchell.
The reason when I'm on the Personnel Committee, as you know, and I voted in favor of this is because of the last point that Jim mentioned, was that we're hoping that this may be able to be incorporated into an existing employee and not have to hire a new body to do this particular position. But my concern leading up to that was, for many, many years, this town has had a part-time treasurer. It's only been like in the last year or so, we made that position full-time. And now we're taking the full-time position and adding additional help to it. And it just seems, revenues are revenues, and the town has a lot of revenues, which is a good thing, but we've had an individual who's handled that on a part-time basis for a long time. Now we have a full-time treasurer, and now we're adding another person. So I'm hopeful that this, even though it's just a $10,000 situation, that be incorporated into another position in town, which we're hoping to look into. So.
Well, let's finish this. Well, no, I'll go right with it here. The finances of the town have improved and increased dramatically. And one of the things that I worked very hard to implement was the credit card system at Park and Recreation. And that has made deposits easier. And in the month of June, they did over $20,000 in credit card business alone. In the month of July, they did over $10,000 plus in credit card business. Just Park and Recreation. So that was a good move, and that makes it very clean. The deposits are direct into the bank, and Al is able to track where those are, but some of the others are not that clean. And being that the town is in very good condition and things are being handled very tightly, we just wanted, this is just another area in closing the loop for our improvement of, like I said before, it's been in our management letters before of our audits, and I need to do this in order to resolve another one of those issues.
If it's been a recurrent theme on through the recommendations, I think it only makes sense.
It is.
Just a question of... I can fully understand the appropriation of the $10,000. It would seem to me that I'm getting the thought that is if the position is outside of an employee that's already
Correct.
on
It may not even cost us that.
Okay, that's the point I'm bringing up now.
It's not to exceed.
If you find an individual already on the payroll that has, could use a little more time doing some of the work, well then, that would change, it probably could change the job description, and maybe you could increase the hourly rate of that one particular individual, which in turn might not cost us the $10,000 by
Correct.
hiring somebody outside. Am I right
Very correct.
on thinking that?
Very
Okay.
correct.
Joe, at the same time, if we do that with an existing employee, we'll have to go to the union and get a job description change, so.
I previously asked if it was a union thought.
Yeah, probably, odds are it would be.
My biggest concern was, again, as yours was, and Mitch, was adding another person or adding more money to the budget. But what swayed me was the fact that, especially like North Haven, has had a major problem, and I think we want to forestall that. And I think this is a way of doing it. And the amount of money that we're allocating is minor compared to what could happen.
Okay. All those in favor? Oh, we didn't have, wait a minute, we need a motion first. Did you do it?
I think the motion was made.
Okay. Okay, Oakenquist, Goldblatt. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous, thank you. Yeah, the last one on there, I'll explain it because it happened at 3:30 this afternoon, so Mitchell and Ralph haven't even been made aware of this one, only other than the fact that Ralph, I told him it was off the table. What's going to happen there, I met with the representative of that position this afternoon. After some comments were said, and all of a sudden it made me wonder about the situation, and when we got done, the town van for maintenance will be parked at the post road at Highway. It will be in a locked garage, probably the former Post Road Firehouse building. There's room in it for it there. Tools and all will remain in that vehicle, and that man will now drive to work like everybody else. If he is called in an emergency situation, he is paid his overtime and mileage for coming in. We worked hard on that one, and that was something that actually we had talked about in personnel a couple months ago, and all of a sudden something hit today, and that we had a meeting, and that's how it was resolved. Just so everybody's aware at the same time on that. So that's the personnel report. Should I go back here? Oh, that's all. Okay.
Jim, before we go executive session,
We're going to need we need a motion for, Vincent needs to add something for executive session, so, go ahead.
Well, I want to just bring just a quick thing to your attention and Vincent's, in going through the FYIs, and so I don't think we need an action tonight, but I just want to bring it to the attention of the
Where are
board.
you, Mitch?
Well, the FYI of the, somewhere, revenue and budget reports. This looks to be a pretty complete now, I realize it's not final, budget report for 2006, 2007. And in the expenditures, there's a couple of departments that have exceeded budgets by $20,000 or more, and I believe that takes an action possibly of town meeting or action of the Board of Selectmen, I'm not sure which, to reconcile it. I think it goes beyond just the Board of Finance. And so I just wanted to bring that to your attention and make sure we handle that in a proper way. And I realize it won't happen tonight. I just wanted, going through this today, noticed a few things that had reached that threshold of over $20,000 per department.
Yeah, but that's unaudited at this point, and it doesn't include all the transfers yet, does it?
No, but I don't think you can transfer things around if the department itself has gone over 20,000. We've had this issue a couple times in the past. A couple came close at times, but there's at least two in here, or three, that are over $20,000 in the department that have exceeded the budget. And so I just wanted to, bring that to the attention and have it looked into. If we have to take action, or it has to be a town meeting called or whatever, we should just not lose sight of it, that's all.
I would say it has
I
to
don't
be
think we're going to
audited.
lose sight of it.
I realize the overall budget's in good shape, I just, talking
Yes,
about
it is.
particular departments.
Okay, we have to add to executive session in item, and what am I going to call it?
Discussion on, Cuz Acres litigation.
Okay, item number 2 for executive session. Item number 1 is the Mary L. Tracy parking lot ground lease agreement, and item number 2 that we need a motion to add would be Cuz Acres litigation. Settlement? All right, okay, Selectman Blake, do we have a second? Selectman Goldblatt, any discussion on it? Hearing none.
I'm sorry. We're going to add that to executive session. We're also adding it as a possible vote afterwards as well.
I think it's just an update.
Add a possible.
Add it
Okay,
as
so
possible, okay, add it as
also a
possible
possible
vote.
Okay.
And, again, as I've stated repeatedly before, this Cuzzacrio lawsuit is in no way connected to Selectman Cuzzacrio. I want to make that perfectly clear to anybody watching at home. I don't know what his pleasure is on that. Are you going to stay in or out on that? What is your thought, Roy?
I will probably back off of that.
Recuse yourself on it? Okay.
He just wants to go home early.
I will recuse, well, he can't really, but I recuse, well, yeah, he can. I recuse myself on the first one, the Mary L. Tracy parking lot ground lease agreement, since I am the adjoining property owner on that one. With that said, one of us will be out on each of these items. I say we move into executive session at 9:05. All set? And we are back out of executive session at 10:13. And we had discussed two issues, one of which involved the parking lot by Mary L. Tracy School in regards to a ground lease. And the second was Cuz Acres lawsuit discussion. I believe there is no action at this time on either one of those items. So being that, if there's any other business to come before this board, otherwise I'll take a motion to adjourn. Mr. Okenquist, is there a second? Mr. Blake? All in favor? We're adjourned at 10:15.